The Committee of Adjustments on August 15th, 6:30 p.m. Before we begin the meeting, I'd like our Secretary Treasurer read the land acknowledgement.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the town of Innisfil acknowledges that Innisfil is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history. The town also acknowledges that this land is the traditional territories of the First Peoples of Turtle Island. It is shared between the Anishinaabe peoples of Beausoleil First Nation, Chippewas of Rama First Nation, and Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation, and we thank them for generations of stewardship. This meeting place is still home to many Indigenous people, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. The town acknowledges the forced sacrifices that are the foundation of Canadian society today. We are dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nation, Métis, and Inuit.
Thank you. And welcome to the Committee of Adjustments. It's a hybrid meeting where we are meeting in person at the Town Hall and offering members of the public or applicants who are unable to attend in person to utilize Zoom or telephone to come before the committee. In attendance tonight is to my far left is our Vice Chair, Sarah Oettinger. To my immediate right is Marnie Adams. To my far right is John Raimondi, and to my immediate left is Bill Van Berkel, and I'm Rod Hicks as the chairperson. We ask that everyone attending tonight's meeting please put their electronic devices on silent. The committee will follow the agenda as noted. To view the agenda, please visit the town's website and access the Committee of Adjustment page where you'll be able to see current and previous applications. All applicants and members of the public who wish to address the committee via phone or Zoom will be placed on mute until called upon. You will be able to hear all conversations taking place. For applicants and members of the public attending in person or via Zoom, phone or Zoom, and wish to speak to a specific application will be called to the podium by the chair in order of the agenda and the proceedings. All comments will be addressed to the chairperson. We would ask that members of the public who wish to speak to a specific application restrict their comments to the specific details of the application being heard and not had been previously expressed by another member of the public. Once the public discussion is complete, the committee will close that portion and open discussions with the applicant. Once complete, the committee will render a decision. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda? Bill, second it. Sarah, all in favor? It's moved. Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the past minutes, minutes from last month's meeting? A motion? Sarah, second. John, all in favor? It's moved. Thank you. Mr. Secretary, how was notice provided for the applications before us?
Through you, Mr. Chair, in compliance with Ontario regulations, the notice of hearing was circulated to property owners within a 60-meter radius of the subject properties, and signs were posted on the subject properties on or before August 1st, 2024. In addition, all application information, including the notice, key map, and application drawings were made available on the town website.
Excellent, thank you. The first three items on the agenda are being deferred to next month. So the next one on the agenda is B004-2024, known as 988 Lockhart Road. And I believe we have an agent with us tonight, Ray Dumel, if I said that correctly. Do we have him?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm attending virtually. My apologies for not being able to attend in person. Tonight I'm out of town.
That's fine. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustments. Mr. Secretary, can you read the particulars and any comments?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the applicant is proposing to sever a portion of the subject lands. Planning recommends approval with a condition. The Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority have comments and conditions. Building, in-services, and engineering have no comments.
Thank you. And I see we don't have anybody speaking for or against this application tonight. So Ray, it's yours. Are you in receipt of all the information from the town? The recommendations? Yep.
Yes, I am, Mr. Chairman.
Do you have anything to add to it, or?
Would you like me to explain the application, Mr. Chairman? I could share my screen and quickly explain. This is a rather straightforward application.
It is straightforward, but if you want to run through it quickly, sure.
Sure. I'll share my screen. Hopefully that the visual is works on your end. Please let me know if you can see my screen, Mr. Chairman.
We can.
Great, thank you. So the application is has been submitted by Lake Haven Development Limited, which is a joint venture between Mattamy Homes Canada and Parkbridge Lifestyle Communities, who is the overall owners of the land. You will see the overall property here is the entire site along Lockhart Road. So a little more than 1,200 meters of frontage and about 81 hectares of land. And what's happened within the last less than 10 years, the operating company of Sandy Cove Estates was placed in the same ownership as the vacant development parcel to the west. And as a result of the provisions of the Planning Act, those have merged. And so the intent of the application before the committee this evening is basically to sever off the developable portion of the land, which is the 40.6 hectares on the left-hand side of the screen, and to retain the operating company, which is Sandy Cove Acres, so that these two entities can be separated as they always have been until the merger, Mr. Chairman. So very straightforward application. The area of each is in excess of 40 hectares. It's following the historic boundary of that originally existed before the merger. And most importantly, I would say that I'm the planner for Mattamy and Parkbridge, and we're working on other files in Sandy Cove, and this will be a future application for comprehensive development that'll be undertaken through a plan, a subdivision application, and a future zoning bylaw amendment application. So we're currently working on another site, two other sites actually. One's under construction and one's in the planning submission stage. But this is in the future category where we'll be coming back and doing a comprehensive review of everything in green at a future date. So that's short and sweet, Mr. Chairman. Hopefully that the nature of the application and the merit of it is self-evident, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you or any members of the public have.
Thanks, Ray. Members of the committee, any questions for the agent? Sarah, go ahead.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just a quick question. The severed parcel, will that be a continuation of Sandy Cove, or is it a completely separate subdivision?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the speaker, sorry, I didn't catch the name. The area in green that I'd shown, and I can share it again if you'd like, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, that will be an entirely new development that we're coining it right now Lake Haven West. There's currently a Lake Haven North application that is for official plan amendment, a zoning bylaw amendment, and plan of subdivision that's on the books right now in Innisfil that we're working through and have had a public meeting. This is the west site, and then there's also a south site, which is on the other side of the road. And actually, I've submitted an application to create a new lot, just like this application that this committee will be considering, I believe, in September, because the same inadvertent merger happened with that. And that's the parcel immediately to the south on Lockhart Road, right across the street from this. Did that answer your question?
That was Sarah. That was Sarah, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions? Well, I see none. Could I have a motion for or against the application before us? Marnie?
Through the chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve application B004-2024, 988 Lockhart Road, as applied for, subject to all the conditions.
Motion to approve with conditions. I have a seconder. Bill, all in favor? It's so moved. You're approved, Ray.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
you.
Members of the committee, have a great night.
You too, thank you.
I'll see you in person in September.
All right, look forward to it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Next application is B006-2024, known as 1015 Westmount Avenue. And I believe we have Galen Pierce and Dylan Moore coming before us tonight. If we can get them on.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair.
Good evening.
I'm also joining virtually tonight.
That's fine.
And through you, Mr. Chair, if we can include the next two applications all as one.
There's two. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, they were split up on my agenda here, so.
Yeah, the Westmount and St. Paul's are all the
Oh,
same
right, they're all together. All right, so, well, I'll read that out again just for the record. It's, yeah, you're right, sorry about that. 006-2024, 1015 Westmount Avenue, 027-2024, 1953 St. Paul Road, and A028-2024, known as 1015 Westmount Avenue. Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay, Mr. Secretary, can you read the application and any comments?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the applicant is proposing an adjustment to the lot boundary, which will result in a deficient rear yard setback of 1.5 meters and a deficient lot area of approximately 489.1 square meters for 1953 St. Paul Road. The applicant is seeking relief from Table 4.2A of the zoning bylaw, which requires a minimum lot area of 600 square meters and a minimum rear yard setback of 6 meters. Planning recommends approval with conditions. Building have comments and conditions. In-services have comments and conditions. Engineering have comments.
Sorry, are you in receipt of the town's comments? Is it Galen that's with us?
Yes, yeah, we are in receipt of the town comments, yeah.
You've got them, great. And I don't see anybody speaking for or against us tonight, so do you have anything to add to this application? It's pretty straightforward.
No formal presentation, but I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Members of the committee, there's no public speaking for or against us tonight. Do you have any questions for the agent? Anybody have any questions? Marnie?
Through the chair, just looking at the survey or the diagram. So the back corner of the house, and I'm not sure what the directions would be, the opposite end of the house to where the deck is, will that backyard setback be enough? It says 1.5 meters.
Through the chair to the member. So the rear yard setback actually is a specific variance that we've requested. The standard requirement for an R1 zone requires a 6 meter setback, and this would reduce. We're requesting a reduction to 1.5. It's an adjustment that will reduce the sort of rear yard amenity space. However, we're fairly confident that we're still going to have a usable amenity space in the rear. You can still construct, I believe, approximately 35 square meter deck or an even larger patio. And based on the comments from the town's planning department, issues of screening could be addressed through landscape plantings, which the applicant is amenable to.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I see none. Could I have a motion for or against the applications that we're currently listening to? Bill?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I recommend that we approve application B006 2024, A027 2024, and A028 2024, as long as all the conditions are met.
Motion for approval with all conditions attached. Can I have a seconder? John, all in favor? Galen, you're approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good evening. And the next application, the final application for the evening is A029 2024, known as 1870 Big Bay Point Road. And do we have Cynthia here and Daphne? Oh, welcome. Are you Cynthia?
I'm Daphne.
Daphne, okay.
This is Cynthia behind me.
Well, it's kind of funny. I got confused by your names. One's Daffrin and the other one's Daphne. So
I know, and my middle name's Fern, so it's extra. Her last name is just a combination of my first and middle name.
There you go. Well, welcome to the Committee of Adjustments.
Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, can you read the application and any comments, please?
Through you, Mr. Chair, the applicant is proposing to construct a senior citizens residence development with a deficient parking rate of 1.25 spaces per unit. The applicant is seeking relief from section 3.35.1.1E of the zoning bylaw, which requires a minimum parking rate of 1.75 spaces per unit. Planning recommends approval with conditions. Building, in-services, and engineering have no comments.
Thank you very much. And we don't have anybody speaking for or against us tonight. Do you have anything to add to this application? I know this one's been a long time coming.
Yes, so I do have a whole presentation if you want to see it, or if you want to go home, that's also up to you. But it is for reference, it's the Tollendale Village project. And we do have two representatives from Tollendale Village on the line virtually. So if you have any questions for them, yeah.
Would you like to see what this is going to look like?
You want to see the whole
Would like to. I would like to see it if you've got it.
Sure,
that
I
would-
figured you would want to.
It'd be nice to
but I
see it.
thought
We
I
know,
would give you the
we know
option.
this has been waiting to come before us for a long time, so I'm glad to see this progress being made.
Yes, yeah, so are we. We're really excited. And yeah, hopefully you are all excited as well. So yeah, so my name's Daphne Goxon. I'm a senior planner with Innovative Planning Solutions. As you have heard, I'm here tonight representing the Tollendale Village project. We are now coming into these final stages of securing all the approvals for this project. And as I mentioned, Drew Curry and Rudy Westerneng are both on the line from Tollendale Village if you have any specific questions for them. So yeah, next slide. So yeah, I'm sure you're all familiar with the property there on Big Bay Point Road. It's in this area that's sort of underdeveloped at the moment, but is across the street from some subdivisions in the city of Barrie. The use was approved through a minister's zoning order, and that's been in place since 2019. So you can go to the next slide. So here's a nice, pretty rendering for you all to see from the application for site plan that we currently have pending with the city. So the approval from the minister's zoning order was for a long-term care home, a special care facility, a retirement home, as well as accessory uses, buildings, and structures. So there will be four-story residential buildings and one central amenity building. And as mentioned, the uses have been permitted since 2019. So yes, a long time coming. So here's the site plan that we submitted for site plan approval. So you can see the buildings that are in sort of the yellow are the retirement home buildings. The one in the top left, that's the beige color, is the long-term care, and the specialty care is a dementia care. I think that's what it says on the plan building, and then a central amenity building in red in the middle. So right now, if you have seen the site plan application, it's only for the retirement home and amenity building. The long-term care will be sort of a second phase of the project, but this plan shows the full site plan. There's also internal road system, at-grade parking, and there's entrances to an underground parking structure. And then also a lot of landscaped areas. There's walking paths throughout the site, and also some active recreation opportunities for residents. Go to the next slide there. So yes, so as mentioned, we have one minor variance request. It's sort of a technicality in the zoning bylaw. So although the minister's zoning order approves a retirement home, the town zoning bylaw and the definition for a retirement home says it must have a communal facilities for the preparation and consumption of food, which is more something you'd see in an assisted living, but these are meant to be independent living apartments. So as a result, for parking purposes, we were not able to use a retirement home parking requirement of 1 space per unit, and instead are being put into the apartment requirement for parking, which is 1.75 spaces per unit, of which it's 1.5 for residents and 0.25 for visitors. So we're proposing to keep the retirement home sort of resident parking ratio of 1 space per unit, and then also have the 0.25 spaces, visitor spaces per unit, and have a total of 1.25 spaces per unit. And that's the request before you today. And I think, I see you all nodding your head, but in general, there'll be 1-car households, but there will probably be a lot of visitors coming, friends and family, so we think that this is a ratio that makes sense. And there also was a parking study done by a traffic engineer, which is referenced throughout the planning staff report, that found that their existing Tollendale Village in Barrie had about a 1.1 demand spaces per unit under sort of an uncontrolled scenario is what they call it, which means basically there's a surplus of parking available. So even though there's extra parking, only about 1.1 spaces per unit is the demand. So that's how we came to this number. I'm gonna go to the next slide. I don't know if I need to go through the 4 tests for you, but the 4 tests of the Planning Act requires for minor variances. But yeah, The official plan just states that retirement facilities should have adequate parking. We're providing the one stall required for retirement homes per the zoning bylaw. The zoning bylaw, I mean, it's zoned through the province, so it's as a retirement home, which again would be one space per unit. Next slide. And I think hopefully you're all in agreement that this is a project that's very beneficial for the community, not just for all of the people on the waiting list right now for Tollendale Village, but also it's beneficial to have seniors leaving their current homes, which are probably family-size units, and vacating those units so that young families can come and move into those units. And again, just with both the parking study and just general understanding that these will likely be one-car households. And so it's really just, this will be sufficient parking based on their extensive experience running Tollendale Village and Barrie, and just understanding the nature of the project, that this is a sufficient amount of parking. So then that ties into as well that it's minor in nature, that we're not expecting to have a surplus of parking, have issues with surplus parking demand. And just to add as well, the special care facility, the parking requirement is one space for every 2 beds in the facility, which sounded high, but they're actually going to provide that. So there will be a lot of parking at the property is the long story short. So next slide, just the conclusion here. Again, we're requesting 1.25 parking spaces per unit. And, we feel that's a fair amount. A parking traffic engineer agrees with us, so hopefully you do as well.
Great, thank you. Committee members, anybody have any questions? I think we've been waiting for this one to come up for a long time, so it's happy to see it. And I've certainly been in Tollendale 1 and had to visit someone in there for quite a while, and it's a great facility. And it's certainly needed, and by the color of my hair, down the road, the rest of it will be done, and it might have a place for me.
Exactly. There's already a long waiting list. Drew and
bet.
Rudy can tell you exactly how many, but it's only expected to grow.
Wow,
So.
well, that's great. Can I have a motion for or against this application, please? Sarah?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I'll put forward a motion to have application A029-2024 be approved with all listed conditions.
Motion to approve with conditions. Do I have a seconder? Bill? All in favor? There you go. You got your parking spot reduction. Thanks for the presentation. It was good to see it. It's really exciting, for the residents and to know that this is finally moving forward.
Yep, we're trying to get that site plan approval next, and hopefully
That shovel
get
gets
things
in the
going.
ground.
Exactly.
Yes, that's great. Well, thanks for coming before us.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
You too.
Mr. Secretary, do we have any other business tonight?
Through you, Mr. Chair, we don't.
Oh, there we go. Can I have a motion to adjourn at 6:52 on August 15th? Marnie, seconder. John, all in favor? No, you don't want to adjourn? You want to stay? No. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Recording stop.